Jema. So we are continuing with the notes on the way. So the reason why I'm taking a little long is partly because people often ask, when will you take the agenda? When will you take the agenda? Well, whenever we'll take the agenda is a different thing. But much of what is there in the agenda is here in this volume and volume 9. So we are going in that way. And volume 15. So this one part of it. And the second part is these are the ultimate experiences of the transformation of the body. So it's like they set the benchmark and in a way show us what's going to happen. So page, this is a conversation of 31st January 1970. And the mother tells us something very interesting which we are observing all over. But it is the same thing for centuries and for countries and states. A very interesting. But it is the same thing for countries and states. It is the same changeover of authority. Instead of personal authorities, there is going to be a divine authority. Imperative, going to be. So, what will be the sign? And this very change of authority is creating the unspeakable chaos in which men live now because of the resistance. So, this changeover of authority, she tells several places, and she says the rule of the ego is gone. If you are holding on to it, you are just going to be smashed. And if nobody will smash you, your child will definitely smash you. Every home now there is little Krishna. So she tells so categorically, tell the ego, your hour is gone, gone, gone. She even says this is the indispensable condition. Otherwise, talking of supermind and all that is meaningless. So that's why Shobinda and the mother were not very keen of speaking about it, because we can't even get over this small little thing. We want the world to run according to our idea, believing that our idea is the ultimate idea. I think it'll do good to consult the divine that, sir, do you agree? There's a very nice aphorism where somewhere Shobinda says, people want that the divine is on my side or not. He says it should be the other way around. Am I standing on the side of the divine? Divine doesn't take a stand based on our little understanding. But we should decide whether we are on the side of the divine or not. So this is one thing which is happening. And she says that, well, it is terrifying. People who do not know why it is so are truly frightened, because there is an increase of sensitivity and problem, because this is the old world order which people thought is good, but that is being demolished. So any authority based on ego, be it Swamiji, be it parents, be it anybody, and it is going to go away. You have to have the authority of the inner development. Even the authority of logic and reason is going to go away. So we have to be clear about that. The possibility of illness and it is the same thing for problems. So why illnesses increase during such period is very interesting. If you read the Bhavishya Puran, it describes the signs when Kali Yuga is at its extreme. So it describes all kinds of disorders. If we look at it clearly, it is because all the old settled order is going to go away. So there is a temporary resurgence of disorder, and then there is a new order which is going to come. And we are going through this phase of making choices. In a sense, that which still has the illusion of being something separate must dissolve. That must tell itself, it does not concern me. I do not exist. This is the best attitude that one can take. Then it is taken up in the great universal rhythm. And in that process, a lot of new illnesses will come. And man has to go through it, that process of changeover. Because when we are born, there are a lot of mental constructions we just inherit. And we take it as truth. in fact, almost everything, right from parental beliefs to social conditioning to all the. That's why much of even this medicine, all this comes. If you, the more you read, the more the mind gets clogged because it doesn't allow new things to come in. Because we have if you take kira in the morning, there is a problem. If you take haldi at night, it is a problem. If you take this food, there is a problem. If you don't take that food, there is a problem. What is the mind is stuffed with food instead of the divine. So she says, if men had an absolute faith in the healing power of grace, they would perhaps avoid many illnesses. He's not speaking of. This is in response to one of the aphorism of Sri Aurobindo, and that aphorism is, we laugh at the savage for his faith in the medicine man. But how are these civilized less superstitious who have faith in the doctors? The savage finds that when a certain incantation is repeated, he often recovers from a certain disease. He believes. The civilized patient finds that when he doses himself according to a certain prescription, he often recovers from a certain disease. He believes. Where is the difference? It's so difficult. Even doctors who are so-called turned towards Mother and Sri Aurobindo, there are associations in the name of Sri Aurobindo medical, but it's nothing but same old medicines, same old teaching, same old training. There'll be something little added. That little added factor will be that, okay, being in something which Mother has. It's like an add-on. Mother and Sri Aurobindo are add-on. And what is Mother saying? Absolute faith in the power of grace. So Sri Aurobindo and the Mother are not add-on. They are bringing something entirely new. But yes, it's difficult because man enjoys sometimes. Illness has its own rewards. So that's a different story altogether. Then often people ask about Sri Aurobindo and the mother's withdrawal. They have not asked because naturally she's there. But Sri Aurobindo's withdrawal. And what does she say? She says, naturally, it will take some time before it is really established. And I see how his departure and his work, so vast, yes, and so constant in the subtle physical, how much it has helped. Speaking of Sri Aurobindo, we can apply it with much more truth to the Mother. How much it has helped to prepare things, to change the physical structure. There is a experience of the Mother where she goes to a place where new creation is being built. And Sri Aurobindo is there and he shows her all the different, there is a laboratory there is the material which he says this is the new creation material. And she sees that mud. She sees Purani rolling in the mud. This is a kind of experience I have had. So I know even that mud, its texture. And then he is doing some things in the test tube. And he says, then Mother says, I lost interest in that because I had to manage things. So she comes back. But plenty of things which are going on. And he shows how the body will change, how it will develop plasticity. It's an amazing experience. So that's what interests. Otherwise, all the rest, old world order. From the beginning of my life till Sri Aurobindo's departure, I was in the consciousness that one can go up, one can know, one can have all the experiences. Indeed, one did have them. But when one came back into this body, it was the old mental laws, formidable, which ruled things. And then all these years have been years of preparation, liberation and preparation. And these days now it has been, the physical recognition made by the body that it has changed. It has to be worked out. So this is the work that she is taken up. And she says it is not easy. It needs endurance and will. But a day will come when this will be quite natural. It is just the door open. That is all. Now one must go on. Naturally, what was established clings and struggles desperately. That is the cause of all the trouble. It has lost the game. It has lost the game. But still it continues to hold an entire world. And as I said, even Mother and Shri Aurobindo's organizations, institutions in their name, they still continue with the old way. And you just can't convince, because even a nursing home, it is written, finally it is faith that cures. So when I came, I said, finally a place. Let me keep quiet out. You see, the same old thing goes on. You can't talk about faith, you can't talk about aspiration in the body. I thought, oh, very nice, now I can talk to my heart's content, because in the old world you can't talk about these things. In fact, in a way they are open, because they talk about it through the back door. Yes, thoughts have an impact, feelings have an impact. You can't talk, because that's something which is all the, as if it's okay, it's there for writing. And so powerfully written, big writing in our own handwriting. Finally it is faith that cures. So that final aspect is taken. That, well, when nothing helps, okay, leave it to, it's more like a helpless. And logically one can understand it. In fact, she says that if the body has faith that it will be cured, it gets cured. She's even said that if you somehow can establish this faith, or this faith awakens, that you can be cured, that's a sign that it has been sanctioned. So the fact that one has prayed like that, it's a sign that it has been sanctioned. Then of course there is an experience that psychic being will materialize as supramental being, but now we'll come to what we really want to read a little bit. So now we are in 1971. So there was a question which somebody recently had asked. So the question was that Sri Aurobindo, during the Bande Mataram days, he says he saw the Bande Mataram period as the initiation of a national yoga. So he said that even nations do yoga. Never knew about that. So he says the yoga of the Indian nation began in 1905, and the mantra of initiation was Bande Mataram. He says then later on, that time itself he is writing, their rajas has come up, and lot of rajas, catharsis, all this will take place. So we see a long period, because afterwards it's a national consciousness which has to be purged. So much cleansing, so much all this has taken place. And then he says that there will be, this is the mantra for now, for the freedom. But when India is free and ready to rise, a new mantra will be given. And that will be revealed when the time comes. So once very intuitively I had that, what is the new mantra? So somebody recently asked me that, what is the mantra that has been given? And why? Because one of the gurus took it that he gave a Mij mantra and said, this is a new mantra for Indian nation. And people started, but there's a standard Bij mantra. So the mantra that had come to me was Satyamev Jayate Nanritam, which of course Satyamev Jayate is now inscribed in the institution. And here we are reading something which the mother reveals, which is on 9th June 1971. A message was asked from me for the whole of India. I have given it. So she has given the message. What is the message for the whole of India? Supreme Lord, eternal truth, let us obey Thee alone and live according to truth. So we see that we are entering that phase. We have already entered. That it's not now parties or this thing. Truth is unsparing. It doesn't, if you try to, think only of your ambition, your power, it doesn't matter what party you are. You are going to be hit hard, because we have entered this age of truth. And so she gives us a remedy, prescription given by the mother. Why? Because there will be an onrush of falsehood from all around. Massive rush of falsehood. What I have told you is the truth. It is the only remedy. And what is the remedy? Morning. To exist only for the divine. Afternoon. to exist only through the divine. Evening, to exist only in the service of the divine. And night, to exist only by becoming the divine. And I think these are the words which needs to be engraved, kept. 9th June 1971, she gives us the remedy. All other remedies are not going to work. They are going to push us deeper and deeper, further and further, ultimately toward this end. So what is that remedy? To exist only for the divine. And she says, in any case, you are attacked on all sides. So when you are attacked from every side, what is it that will save? To exist only for the divine, to exist only through the divine, to exist only in the service of the divine, to exist only by becoming the divine. Then 17 July 1971. So we often have Bhagwan dekh lega, God will look into it. Be afraid of God. And we have constructed so many ideas of God. I think that's why humanity had to go through a phase of even a purifying atheism and agnosticism to correct those notions of what God is and what He can do. So here comes something very interesting. I have understood that if the Supreme Consciousness had for one single minute the kind of consciousness that men have, the world would be dissolved. So, all these ideas, guilt, papi, good, bad, all this, so much above, it's like unimaginable. Can a monkey, which is the highest in the scale of order of animals, even conceive what a human consciousness is? Why monkey? Even human beings, if you slightly grow, even human beings, they cannot imagine or understand that, what this fellow is going through and what is going on inside, why he is doing the way. See, yesterday, curiously, these youngsters were being asked with great surprise, how come you came, why you came? Because this doesn't fit into the format. Why would somebody at this age suddenly take a leap? And you use terms like leap of faith, aspiration, nothing. It all goes like, I was seeing. It was going like water. So because it's not there in the format. And people will have all kinds of explanations for that. Quite spontaneously, for us, our spontaneous reaction to things, to what seems to us bad, is to destroy what is false. These spontaneous reactions, not to transform, but to destroy. You understand? There is a gulf between the two. We've been playing this game of destruction that's why things don't get destroyed. You destroy Ravan every year. He says, okay, you are burning me, no? Okay. I'll go and inhabit all of you guys who are standing on this side and shooting. They don't get destroyed. In fact, nothing can get destroyed. Even physically, if we take purely matter, it will just change into its form as energy. It will take a new form and come. And if you take consciousness can never be destroyed. So either things can be absorbed back, dissolved, or they can be transformed. There is no other option. Yeah, forms can be destroyed, that's different. And it is spontaneous, this idea of doing away with falsehood. And then what happens, people, they start getting an illusion that they are in truth and everything else is in falsehood. They start shunning because they start seeing falsehood everywhere. And instead of seeing the divine everywhere, which is the first step of the yoga, they start seeing falsehood everywhere, not realizing that they are seeing their own reflection. He who is seeing evil everywhere is obviously seeing his own reflection. First step of yoga, that's why, is to see the divine everywhere in all beings. Wherever we read Sri Aurobindo, and Sri Aurobindo's own yoga starts with Sarva Khalvidam Brahman. Later on this idea comes, once you are established in that, then, there are things which seem to contradict the divine on the surface, manifestation, change, all this is later. But the first step is all this is the divine. But if for a single second the Supreme Lord were to have that movement, there would be no world anymore. And that's why Mother said that you people want, why doesn't this falsehood end? Why doesn't that falsehood end? She says that if divine were to act upon it like the way you want, that destroy it and finish it, all of you will collapse. Who can say that one is living in truth? I mean, it's a very profound statement. Even practicing truth is not an easy thing. And this, I believe the body has understood. What are we? This is so humbling. What are we? What are men? They believe God. Mother pretends to put on airs. They believe, if they have a little understanding, or if they put in a little effort for perfection, they believe they are. They believe they are extraordinary. Mother takes her head between her hands and laughs. These gestures, thankfully, they have noted. You can imagine Mother taking and laughing. They believe they are extraordinary, somebody special, God's own children. Actually, that's what I said. If you look at the universe, you will develop humility. It brings humility. Who are we? We think we are so special, extraordinary, and we can just look down upon others. Somewhere, Sri Aurobindo has said that when you are in touch with the divine consciousness, it gives you all of a sudden the sense to what extent the world is ridiculous in its fatuity. The fatuity of men. So what is fatuity? She is explaining to us. But even, I have had contacts with animals. Even with the animals that has begun. Vanity, 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 vanity. You see a good breed dog going with his master. How he behaves. I am special. Look at my collar. These started with animals. That they are someone special, somebody extraordinary. Yes, very humbling, sobering sentence is that all greatness belongs to God. You know, deception and attempts at deception are taken almost everywhere as goodwill. And those who do not want to deceive, but who deceive themselves, are already exceptional beings. So what is this attempts at deception and goodwill that I am a good person, I am a holy? It's repeatedly she says that don't try to be among the holy. Because there's only one holy, holiest of holy. I had the vision of the whole world, of the whole earth, of the whole human effort, of all men, everything. We live in a deception. It is frightful. And what is more, one deceives oneself even more than one seeks to deceive others. So nowadays there is a very good word. In college days, many of us may have heard or learnt that be honest to yourself. At least that's the minimum. What the world believes of you, that's okay. But don't forget, when you look at yourself, you know who you are, what you are. So that should be no. There is only one safety. To cling to the divine. She makes the gesture of clenched fist. To cling to the divine. Not clinging to what one thinks to be the divine. She makes it clear. Not even to that which one feels to be the divine. Then you say, what is it? Because that is all mental. So what is true? How do we cling? By aspiration. So she says, an aspiration, as sincere an aspiration as possible. And to cling to that. So this is the remedy. She again and again comes back to the same thing. And this is where We are going through a period, Kalkhand as they say. People are saying what's going to happen on 29th March. Suryagrahan and people, doomsday and new. Actually, it's very simple. So if you read the story, we are now on TV serial Veer Hanuman. We are seeing Hanumanji in that episode of, swallowing the sun. What is that line in Hanuman Chalisa? Ravi bhaksh liyo tab tinahu lok bhayo andhiyaro. So it's that when he swallows the sun. But what people forget, there is a story linked to that. It's the time when Rahu is also, it is the time when it is Rahu Kalam. Rahu is supposed to swallow the sun. And that is the time Hanuman goes. See, the story is so beautifully knit. It's the story of the inner life. So when Rahu comes and stands in the way, he removes him. He says, I have to swallow the sun. I have to eat it. So actually, if you look at this story, it's so interesting that when this eclipse of the sun, meaning thereby when the celestial rays, or if you want to put it at the highest, not about the physical phenomena, it is a physical phenomena. Not much should be read that way. But when such things happen at a subtlest level, at the symbolic level, then there are two kinds of responses human beings make. One is they are afraid. So those who are full of fear, it becomes worse. Because they are afraid. Darkness. Suddenly there is an upsurge of darkness. But there are those full of aspiration. Hanuman, he wants to reach the sun. So they intensify their aspiration. Night comes to basically help us to intensify the aspiration. And if you really look at life, whenever there are difficulties, whenever there are problems, actually in a way it's one purpose. Perhaps the only purpose is that we intensify our aspiration. Otherwise we forget. So basically, 29th March. Huh? Exactly. So I was going to say that is the day when mother meets Sri Aurobindo. So now, what it means? It means that the Suryagrahan is falling on the day when two suns are meeting. So, there is a line in Savitri, no? Soul, two looked upon each other, soul, saw soul. And S is with a capital S. Book 11, yes. Yes. So, it means that now, those who want to be afraid, abyss opens. But for those who want to aspire, there will be a double help. Tremendous help. They can take a leap because now it's not just one sun, there are two suns. And in a way, if you look at it, it's a reproduction of events. Not as Grahan, but if you see when mother came, First World War started. And it takes time to understand. Sri Aurobindo spoke about it, that all the vital forces descended to prevent this meeting and their continuation because the new creation would have started. So all the vital forces in the world came. So basically, for those who are full of aspiration, who want to grow in sincerity, this one effect, she says, of the Superman consciousness, it is working to make us grow sincere. So for them, it's a leap, like Hanuman. And for those who are afraid, they are anyways afraid. So there the phrase applies, jo dar gaya, wo mar gaya. So it requires, if you really look at it this way, there was a time when people would go for sacrifice, singing songs, and they would sacrifice anything for the sake of a great and noble truth. Let's say India's independence. That spirit, if we can capture for the new creation, that whatever may happen, doesn't matter. Life or death means nothing. Matters nothing. All that matters is that humanity, earth should cross over to the new creation. That's all that matters. Whether I, we, all this is irrelevant. Even about India, at one place, Sri Aurobindo has said that given her past preparation, she is most suited. But if India refuses, out of its too much of being stuck to the tradition and all that, then the new consciousness will pick up any country and manifest there. He has said that. Exact words I do not know. I'll try to find and put it. Recently it was posted somewhere. He says that if you continue to stick, the new consciousness is not a slave of, it will give. But then he says But India is best prepared because of the spiritual energy it holds. But this energy has to now take a new direction, a new dimension. And if you are not ready to understand it, then, well, again, so this is the remedy she is again and again reminding us. It's the same thing she is saying, but from different standpoints. So beautiful. 1st September 1971. As for the body, it is being trained to live only through the divine, on the divine, for everything, 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 everything without exception. It is only when the consciousness is linked as such as it can be with the divine consciousness that there comes the sense of existence. And then she is going to say certain very interesting things. It has now an extraordinary intensity. When the physical will get converted, it will be a solid thing, which does not move. The difference between being in the divine, existing only through him and in him, and then being in the consciousness, not the ordinary, naturally, but the human consciousness. Now she is saying something very interesting. The difference between living in the divine and through the divine and the ordinary human consciousness is so great that the one seems to be death beside the other. So much is it. That is to say, the physical realization is truly a concrete realization. She's gone very far already on the path. She says the way human beings live, it is death. And they enjoy it, they celebrate it. Rather, we enjoy it, we celebrate it. But truly living, ये भी कोई जीना है. And actually, if you look at it even logically, living on a whole substitute life, on this, that, on food, on medicine, all these things. I mean, it's a necessity of the body. But what is living in the divine and through the divine? So she says this is the difference. There has begun to take place a concentration of energy. This is a beginning of the perception of what it will be. That, yes, it is truly wonderful. It is so full of power and so strong. It is a tremendous power which must manifest itself. And so the body is in the process of training. And then it is left to proceed as far as it can bear. A process of adaptation is needed, the transition in full transition. So this is the whole problem, that the action of the new consciousness on the body, if it is not able to bear, that's the other. That's why it's a slow, graduated process, calibrated process. And then in this conversation toward the end, she says something very fascinating. I have a queer feeling. Actually, many changes. People, I don't know, they notice or not, but like I have noticed in one generation before, then our generation, then the children. So if you see our parent side generation, so with regard to food, I'm talking about, they could eat a lot. There was thankfully no such calorie problem. Eating was a way of life. Then our generation, little bit, we started transiting from 20, 25 pudis to, Arey, you don't know, Brahmin's house, Sweets, you can't serve one sweet, If it is Rasagulla, it has to be 4 or 5. Rabdi, Para. My record was 18. And my Mamaji, who had a heart problem and diabetes, he beat me in that. We had a competition. He is 64 and I am 18. And I said, okay. And nobody knew it was my grandmother's death. So We were having a gulab jamun competition. Naturally, my mom didn't know, and everybody was busy, and we were having gulab jamun. So it was like 1-1, like that. So 18-18. After that, I said, Mama, I can't eat. So he said, okay, 19, 20, 21. And then my mom, so he said, what, bhaiya, what are you doing? This I have seen in quite a number of people. Then came our generation, little more sober. And now children, so many children, they eat so less. As if less eating is becoming slowly a way of life. Now if you look at what mother has predicted, of course we are not comfortable about it, and it may look like a disease, and there may be new equilibrium is very difficult. It takes time to establish. Maybe it'll create problem, but eventually everything is likely to change. We really don't know. So I am speaking of something so concrete as the eating. Another thing is sleep. Sleep patterns, sleep hours, undergoing a massive change. 3 things: food, sleep, sexuality. Sexuality, it is so strange that many people are not just losing interest, they are actually becoming what they are worried about is impotent. Actually, nature's way. And it's a grace. But, I can't tell them. Sometimes I tell them when they come. I say, don't you see it's a grace? Bhagwan kar raha hai jo tumse hoga nahi. So why are Sorry, but I tell them, I have had some people who are into yoga. So I tell them, see, it's a grace. Why are you worried about it? I said, are you here for this? But if you really, these 3 strongholds is food, sex and sleep. If you see body consciousness, they are engraved in it, like imprinted. So it's so strange, these changes, and so early. What is going to happen? I don't know. Probably we'll have Shukdev's more and more. Very early. Yeah, it's coming up. Trends are changing. There are parents youngsters who don't want children. Thank God. So, once all this is finishing. It's very nice. So, this is how things are changing. They're taking that direction. And still people say, very supramental action. Well, I don't know what they are expecting. That child at 5 will speak Vedantic sloks. This is the problem. We are looking at the wrong thing. Even at the most physical level, things are changing. Anyways, he says, so what is happening? I have a queer feeling that it is a kind of as though the shell or the bark of trees, the shell of a tortoise were melting, and the body itself is not like this. So what is happening is, behind the outer body, a new inner body is beginning to form. And the outer body is like, literally shedding the skin, as we see in the case of, snake shedding the skin. So this is what is happening. And this I have seen in one person, how the skin underwent almost 3 years, 4 years it took. And I used to tell him that your body, something is going on. I won't give you any medicine. And it went through all the process. In fact, from brown body, it became almost a fair body, and then ultimately it stopped. Then after 4 years, he left the body. So things are happening which you don't understand. Of course, if you tell the doctor, there will be a new disease coined. Because if you don't understand it according to the standard parameters, you have to discover. You can write a paper on that there is a new disease. So she is saying that like the shell, this is bark. This is the shell. But the real matter is something else. That which to man seems like matter is as though something hardened that must fall away because it does not receive. So this 71, 72 she'll describe a new body. It all goes in sequence. So we do not know. We say that person has passed away. Where has the person passed away? Probably in a different body. Many of the, disciples, sadhaks are awakening. I remember one of my experiences when Chomdi passed away, and she had so-called, again I have to use that word, and somebody had, she had once got some cherry, and I thought that, I wish I had this cherry, and in 2 days time somebody from New Zealand got me those cherries, which are only there in New Zealand, very tasty. And seeing the cherry, I told this gentleman, I am reminded of Chomdi because, she had once given me these cherries. That night I see very clear, it's not a dream. I see that Chomdi is in mother's room upstairs. She used to look after. And I am going there and she comes, her same standard way, with that smile and with that jovial attitude poking me. So you think I passed away? Did you get the cherry? My God, I just couldn't believe it. Did you get the cherry? I said, yes. She must have inspired somebody to play a little pranks. She used to play the pranks. Like my first birthday, she first birthday means here, wrapped a very nice gift for me and said, this is specially for you. So I thought something of mother in Sri Aurobindo. I was, oh my God, I am all excited. What's going to come? Then she said, you have to open in front of everyone. When I opened, it was Karela. So she knew that I don't like Karela. Of course, she gave many beautiful things, but I'm just saying that, and it's the same thing. And she is saying, mentioning, so you think I have passed away? Did you get the cherry? And there are other people who have had similar experiences. So all this, what's happening beyond, we don't know. They are going there. Eshadi's experiences that Dilip Kumar Roy and who are the three gentlemen I am forgetting? Nolnida, Dilip Kumar Roy and one more, Pavitrada probably. Champaklalji. Yeah, because it's after 92. So they are going with Sri Aurobindo to take a round of the world. And her visions are very authentic. She was blessed by Sri Aurobindo. So she asked Sri Aurobindo, he too, what are you doing? He said, we are just going around the world to see how things are. And she asked about a mama, Dilip Kumar Roy. He too. Because he never outwardly, he went through all this turbulence. He said, why? Yes. Now you see the inner world is so different from the outer. Outwardly, you have one life, there's the bark, life of the bark, and inner being so different. So this is a process which is going on. Most people will know it when the change has taken. Though even now the signs are there. And so she is saying this is not true matter. Because if you read in Savitri, subtle physical, up till subtle physical, something of the spirit's light is there, then plunges in the inconscient. Now when it comes, so I have an image for that which I keep sharing, that imagine you do a bungee jumping and you land up in coal tar. Then when you come out, now you are having all the coal tar on your body. So this is not the true thing. So because of the plunge of the one consciousness through a progressive involution into the coal tar of inconscient, as it emerges, we mistake this tar to be matter. But this is not true matter. There is another matter, and that, of course, scientists are also speaking about it, but that's a different subject. So she says, that which to man seems like matter is as though something hardened that must fall away, because it does not receive. And in this body here, mother touches the skin of her hand, it tries to open out. Oh, it is strange. It is a strange sensation. If one could hold on long enough for the thing to melt, then that would be the true beginning. She has given the whole secret. To just wait for this to melt. And as I said, who knows what is happening? And of course, we have all this all these ideas about victory day, we celebrate Durga Puja, and everybody has his own idea of victory. If your enemies are, actually this thought, no, our enemies are beaten, are fallen. People often are very happy about it and they beat drums. And where it is described in Savitri? It is described in the world of falsehood when he dips right into the end. He says, our enemies are fallen, they sang. How good are we? How great is he? So this idea that somebody who was my enemy has fallen and therefore God is so great And we know it's also used by many people, and in particular religion it's become a chant. It is right extreme world of falsehood. So what then is victory? So she says, on 29th September 1971, actually that describes the entire, you can identify the extreme bombs, massacre, the bombshell, all this is going on in 1940s. He has spoken about all that. Durga Puja, Victory Day, Vijayadashmi. It was clear, very clear today, a strong pressure to say, victory, it is harmony. This is the challenge. Harmony करके दिखाओ. Cutting, leaving, abandoning, this is very easy. Man has been doing it for ages. But bring harmony, it's so difficult. Far more difficult, very, very challenging. It stretches you to the last bit. And harmony not by, living in falsehood or trying to just please, not that way. But living by the truth, we may use the word dharma because that's the closest that comes to. Living by your inmost truth and yet bring the harmony. That's challenging. So she says, victory, it is harmony. Victory, it is the divine. And for the body, victory is good health. So often, as a doctor, one of the things that I have found very helpful in practice, if somebody has a problem, physical or psychological, one of the mantras that came to me spontaneously once, and that I sometimes on an inner inspiration tell people that say this. And what is that? Viktva ala dosmer. Victory to the Divine Mother. It's very powerful. I have myself felt that it can drive away many forces. The moment you say Viktva ala dosmer, my God, it is victory to the Divine Mother. You are not asking, oh, Mother, I am so unwell, Mother, do something, Mother, I am going to die. No, that's weakness, falsehood. One can do that. But to say that the Divine is victorious, you are not there in the picture. And it drives away the illness. So she says, for the body, victory is good health. Each and every element, each and every illness is a falsehood. It came this morning and it was so clear. It was convincing. It is as though by the pressure all falsehood had come out. The most unexpected things in people, in objects, in circumstances, and it is truly no imagination can equal that. It is unbelievable. So all this which comes out, this poison, hate, venom, spite, and it's so strange that we don't understand because we have the story of Sagar Manthan. So the same, see, Vasuki is serpent of evolution. That's how Mother has described. That Shiva's serpent is a serpent of evolution. And this Meru is the physical matter. And water, on which the waters, which we know is, you can look at it as nature, you can look at it as creation, multiplicity, whatever way. And that is being mathod, churned. Okay. She speaks about this churning of matter. And who is at the base? Divine Himself. And as a result, so many possibilities emerge, so many things come out. Both things which are beautiful, things which are not so beautiful. And then the poison. And both aspects have to come together. You just can't say, I'll be a good holy person and do the churning. You can't do that. A good person is not strong enough for, strength is, they are the ones who embody the Strength, and the gods are supposed to have character and intelligence. Now everything seems to be all mixed up. Sri Aurobindo says, no, give us, O mother, the strength of the asura and industry of the asura, and the gods' intelligence and character. They both have to come together. It's not like becoming weak and just, you have to be strong. And then both aspects have to come together with that single aspiration. And then slowly, and then when poison comes out, she takes it. But it is bound to come out. And then comes the Amrit, where you have the last test. And whether we want Vish Mohini or the nectar. So she says, it is as though by the pressure all falsehood had come out, the most unexpected things in people, in objects, in circumstances, and it is truly, no imagination can equal that. It is unbelievable. And that we see here. Unexpected things happening. So much more intense. And earlier people would ask the mother, and we see so many places she has explained this phenomena. Because this intense pressure, and how human consciousness will react and respond, we don't know. So the disciple asks, but it is a good sign, isn't it? Sri Aurobindo said it is the hour of the unexpected, which we see now all over. And so she says, oh yes, oh yes. It is as though there had been a poison, yes. And by pressing, the poison came out to disappear, and it is coming out. See, she has explained, or rather lived, the Sagar Manthan experience, and now this is going on in the human consciousness. So in the yoga also many things come out, and there is a letter of Sri Aurobindo about nation. This in 46 about world. World conditions were so pathetic during the Second World War. So Kishore Gandhi asked him, sir, what do you have to say? Make some prophecy. So Sri Aurobindo says, things, I am afraid I cannot give anything except cold comfort. Actually, if you type cold comfort, maybe we may have the letter. We can just try to see. But it's a very beautiful letter. I am afraid I cannot give you anything except cold comfort. Things are bad. They may grow bad to worse if that were possible. And then he says it is just like in the individual, so also in the world. It's in Letters on Yoga, one of them. Thank you for this worth reading. Because it explains how the yoga process takes place. And it explains what happens in the world. Yes. I am afraid I can hold out but cold comfort for the present at least. See how Sri Aurobindo is not giving any, false hopes and prophecies. So when he gives hope, it is solid. He is not just trying to please us. For the present at least, to those of your correspondents who are lamenting the present state of things. Things are much better now if you compare with that time. Things are bad, are growing worse, and may at any time grow worst or worse than worst, if that is possible. What could be worse than worst? But then see what he's saying. And anything, however paradoxical, seems possible in the present perturbed world. So what we should do? The best thing for them, those who have asked, is to realize that all this was necessary because certain possibilities had to emerge and be got rid of if a new and better world was at all to come into being. It would not have done to postpone them for a later time. So he did it all when he was present. If you see, the worst period is 1920 to 1950. Worst period. After that, things have okay. You are slowly seeing the light of the day. And then he explains, it is as in yoga, where things active or latent in the being have to be put into action in the light so that they may be grappled with and thrown out, or to emerge from latency in the depths for the same purificatory purpose. So it's a purification process which goes on. It doesn't mean we justify anything and everything. We must understand this is a genuine defect and it's being purified, or it's a problem that the divine is purging us. Also, they can remember the adage that night is darkest before dawn and that the coming of dawn is inevitable. This dawn came on 29th February 1956. Someone today asked me in the ashram, I said, tell me, on 29th March Satyug is going to come? I said, for us it has started. It is not 29th March, it is 29th February 1956. So, he said, what about this? I said, now people are recognizing it. So he said, are you sure? I said, Pakka. He said, okay, if you confirm it, it's fine. I said, who am I to confirm? Mother has said it. Okay, I take it, it is confirmed. I said, of course. And actually, logically, you can see. If you compare the last 125 years, of course, if you compare what happened yesterday or 10 years back, it's a different story. And if you compare your own little life, then always there is misery. So, he reminds us, but they must remember too that the new world whose coming we envisage is not to be made of the same texture as the old, and different only in pattern, and that it must come by other means from within and not from without. So if you are expecting government to bring a new world, pass a legislation, from today we are going to have a new world, or in America fashionable things as new world, it won't happen. It has to change from within outward. And it won't be the same as the old world. Everything is gone. Kali Vraja. That's how it is described in Kali Yuga. There is a discharge of not only bad things but also the good things. All goes away. So the best way is not to be too much preoccupied with the lamentable things that are happening outside, but themselves to grow within, so that they may be ready for the new world, whatever form it may take. Very beautiful guidance for all of us. That don't be occupied with lamentable things happening here, there, everywhere. Rather, prepare yourself for the new dawn that has come, and more people will embody it. Jai Ma.